you ever been lonely?
There was a time in country music when two voices could break your heart and heal it at the same time. These weren't just songs, they were real life, real love, real pain. And somehow, they'd walk into that studio together
In a pawn shop in Chicago on a sunny summer day.
and record something so powerful, it still hits you the same way today. Some of these duets were recorded during the darkest moments of these artists' lives. That real, honest, small-town heartbreak is exactly what made these songs immortal.
We got married in a fever, hotter than a...
If you grew up with this music playing in your kitchen, your truck, your mama's living room, you already know what we're talking about. This is a countdown of the greatest country duets ever recorded, the ones that never got old, and number one will take you right back to the moment you first heard it. Number 10, David Houston and Tammy Wynette, My Elusive Dreams.
I followed you to Texas.
Picture 1967, a kitchen radio, a woman stopping what she's doing the moment this song comes on, because it says everything she's been feeling but couldn't find words for.
I followed you.
Recorded for Epic Records and produced by Billy Sherrill, this song hit number one on the Billboard Country charts. It's about two people chasing a dream together and moving from place to place, never quite finding what they're looking for. Simple story, but the emotion in it is anything but simple.
So we moved on.
Most people don't realize Tammy was still brand new when this was recorded. This duet was one of the first times the world heard what her voice could truly do. Billy Sherrill knew right then he had something special. Over time, it got buried under Tammy's bigger solo hits, but this was the beginning. And beginnings always deserve more credit than they get. The next song takes you even deeper into Nashville's golden years. Number 9, Porter Wagoner and Dolly Parton, Please Don't Stop Loving Me.
Please, please, don't stop.
The Grand Ole Opry, a rhinestone suit, a young woman with a voice that filled every corner of that old building. For 7 years, Porter and Dolly were one of the most powerful partnerships in country music.
Please, please.
Released in 1974 on RCA Records, this song hit number one. The lyrics are a plea to people asking each other not to walk away. And knowing what was happening behind the scenes, it hits different. By the time this was recorded, Dolly was already planning to leave. She was bigger than the format. Porter knew it, and yet they stood at that microphone together and gave everything they had.
In darkness, you bring me the light.
Dolly later wrote, I will always love you as a goodbye to Porter, not a romantic goodbye, a thank you. That's the kind of deeply human story living behind these songs. The next one carries a love story so real it gave country music some of its greatest moments ever. Number 8, Johnny Cash and June Carter Cash, Jackson.
We got married in a fever, hotter than a...
Playful, fiery, two people who looked like they were having the time of their lives because they were. Jackson is the sound of real chemistry, the kind you can't fake.
I'm gonna mess around.
Released in 1967 on Columbia Records, it hit number 2 on the country charts and won the Grammy for Best Country and Western Performance Duet in 1968. Johnny was fighting some of the darkest personal battles of his life when this was recorded. And yet, when he and June stood together at that microphone, what came out was pure joy. This song has been covered dozens of times, but nobody has ever come close because they weren't performing, they were living it. The next entry carries a story so heartbreaking, it almost doesn't seem real. Number 7, Jim Reeves and Patsy Cline, Have You Ever Been Lonely?
Have you ever been lonely?
This one is unlike anything else on this list. Two of the most beautiful voices in country music history, and yet they never once stood in the same room together to make this happen. Patsy died in a plane crash in 1963. Jim died in a plane crash in 1964.
Just as I love you.
Nashville was never quite the same after either loss. In 1981, RCA Records carefully wove their individual vocal tracks together into a posthumous duet album that went to #1 on the country charts.
See, I've changed, dear. Can't you see?
When you hear those two voices together, something happens in your chest that's hard to explain. Some people debated whether it was right to create something the artist never agreed to. It's a fair conversation. But what's hard to argue with is how naturally their voices fit together.
Back in your heart.
How can I?
Like they were always meant to sing side by side. This wasn't just a record. It was a goodbye the world never got to say. The next song is going to remind you why Conway and Loretta were one of the most powerful partnerships this genre has ever seen. Number 6, Loretta Lynn and Conway Twitty, After the Fire Is Gone.
Love is where you find it when you find.
A small-town bar on a Friday night, neon signs buzzing, two working people sitting across from each other, not saying much, but feeling everything. That's the world this song came from.
Fire is gone. Sing it for you.
Released in 1971 on Decca Records and produced by Owen Bradley, this was the first #1 Conway and Loretta ever had together. It won the CMA Award for Duo of the Year and kicked off 13 #1 hits as a duo. 13.
I had to call you to our favorite.
Loretta has said Conway always made her feel heard. That's rare in any business. And that trust between them, you can hear it in every note. This song sometimes gets overlooked because of everything they recorded after it.
Out at home, and there's nothing called it.
But this was the beginning, and it deserves to be remembered that way. The next one carries one of the most complicated real-life stories in all of country music. Number 5, Waylon Jennings and Willie Nelson, Mamas Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys.
Cowboys ain't easy to love and they're harder to hold.
Two men who spent years fighting the Nashville establishment, two men who refused to play by the rules, and when they came together, they didn't just make music, they made a movement.
Lone Star bell buckles. No.
Released in 1978 on RCA Records, this hit #1 and won the Grammy for Best Country Performance by a duo or group in 1979. It was the sound of outlaw country at its peak, artists pushing back hard against the polished, pop-influenced sound Nashville was chasing.
Just right away.
Here's the thing, they didn't even write this song. Ed and Patsy Bruce did, but the way Waylon and Willie delivered it made it feel like their own autobiography because the life in those lyrics, the highway, the freedom, the refusal to be fenced in, that was just a Tuesday for these two.
Don't let 'em pick guitars and drive them old trucks.
Walk Nashville didn't know what to do with them, so they did it themselves. And the people, truck drivers, farmers, working men and women, they claimed this song immediately. The next entry is one of the rawest and most honest recordings in country music history. Number 4, George Jones and Tammy Wynette, Golden Ring.
In a pawn shop in Chicago on a sunny summer day.
A gold wedding band, bought at a pawn shop, passed from hand to hand as a relationship rises and falls. Simple idea, devastating execution.
Honey, that's for you. It's not much, but it's the best.
Released in 1976 on Epic Records and produced by Billy Sherrill, this hit #1, and here's what makes it almost unbearable. George and Tammy had divorced just 1 year before this was recorded. Their marriage was over. The pain was fresh.
For someone to take it home by yourself.
and Billy Sherrill brought them back into the studio anyway. People who were there have said the sessions were deeply emotional. Recording a song about a marriage falling apart while their own had just fallen apart, nobody took that lightly.
In a little way.
Some questioned whether the label pushed it purely for commercial reasons. Others say both artists genuinely wanted to do it. While the truth probably lives somewhere in the middle, but what came out of that studio was undeniable. You can hear their real life in every single word.
Tears roll down her cheeks and happy thoughts run through her head.
We are heading into the top 3, and these next songs defined everything. Number 3, Willie Nelson and Merle Haggard, Pancho and Lefty.
Living on the road, my friend, was gonna keep you free and clean.
Two outlaws singing about two outlaws. If that doesn't tell you everything, nothing will.
But her favorite one is sing. So she began to cry.
Released in 1983 on Epic Records and produced by Chips Moman, this song was written by the legendary Townes Van Zandt, one of the greatest songwriters who ever lived. It hit number 1 and introduced a whole new audience to Townes' writing, a man who deserved far more recognition than he ever got.
Pancho was a bandit boy. His horse was fast as Polly.
Willie and Merle didn't just record a great song, they used their platform to shine a light on someone working in the shadows for years. That's generosity. That's integrity. As the mid-'80s pushed country toward a slicker sound, this one faded from radio, but it never lost its power.
You know, in the deserts down in Mexico.
Play it for someone today who's never heard it, and watch their face. Great writing doesn't age. Number 2 is one of the biggest crossover moments in the history of this entire genre. Number 2, Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton, Islands in the Stream.
Baby, when I met you, there was peace, I know. I set out to get.
This one didn't just top the country charts, it topped everything. Released in 1983 on RCA Records and produced by Barry Gibb of the Bee Gees, this spent 2 weeks at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, not the country chart.
You do something to me that I can't explain.
The main pop chart. It crossed every boundary and brought country music into living rooms that had never listened to the genre a day in their lives. Here's the truth most people don't know. Barry Gibb originally wrote this song for Marvin Gaye. It was never meant to be country at all. But when Dolly walked into that studio, everything changed.
Tender love is blind. It requires a day.
The moment those two voices came together, everyone in the room knew they had something historic. Some traditional fans had mixed feelings about a pop-produced song leading the country charts.
With each other, islands in the stream.
What that debate has always existed in Nashville, but the joy in this recording, that's something no debate can touch. And now we are at number 1, the greatest country duet ever recorded.
Well, we're not ready. We got a man down. Thank you.
If you grew up with this kind of country music, take a moment to subscribe to Retro Vault. This channel is about keeping these songs and stories alive, and every subscription truly helps the channel grow. It tells YouTube that real country music history still matters and helps these videos reach more people who remember this era. The more support the channel gets, the more stories we can keep bringing you. Number 1, George Jones and Tammy Wynette. We're gonna hold on. This is it.
We're gonna hold on.
No song on this list carried more real weight than this one, because behind every note was a real marriage, real love, real heartbreak, and two people trying desperately to hold it all together. Released in 1973 on Epic Records and produced by Billy Sherrill, this hit number 1 and became the defining sound of what a country duet could be. The lyrics are a promise. We are going to hold on no matter what.
A real good life is hard to find.
And knowing what George and Tammy were going through personally, that promise feels both beautiful and heartbreaking at the same time. George Jones struggled deeply during this period. There were moments when just getting him into the studio was a victory.
Between us makes it grow.
Some love.
And Tammy stood by him through more than most people will ever know. When you hear them sing this together, you're not hearing two performers, you're hearing two human beings holding on to each other for dear life.
It brings us happiness.
No duo before or since has ever matched what they created together because it was never just music, it was their life. Laid bare for everyone to hear, and that is what country music has always been about.
Some